Alright, this is our presentation by Nick and Miwa on ratios and proportions from Unit 5.5 to 5.8.
A ratio is the relative units of two or more examples. There are a number of different types of ratios, including part-to-whole ratios and part-to-part ratios. A part-to-whole ratio can be written as a fraction, is used when we compare part of a whole to whole. For example, 3 slices of apple to 6 apples would be written as 3/6 as a ratio, and that is an example of part-to-whole ratio. A part-to-part ratio is a ratio that is part of a whole compared to another part of the whole. For instance, if you compare number of green peas in mixed vegetable bag to number of carrots in the bag, that would be a part-to-part ratio. There are also different ratio terms. A ratio can be 2 or more terms or values.
Proportions are equivalent ratios. Ratios can keep the same value by multiplying or dividing all values by the same amount. This is often where proportions are used. For example, here we have a ratio of 6 to 4. In order to find its proportion, you can divide both sides by the same number. In this case, we divide by 2. The same is true for ratios with more than 2 values. When we divide the ratio 6 to 4 by 2, it equals 3 to 2, the lowest form of this ratio.
Even if the values of ratios are completely different, by using equivalent ratios it can be compared. All we do is multiply or divide the two ratios to find a common number for one of the values in both ratios, and then two can be compared. For instance, in trail mix I have 5 almonds to 9 cranberries, and in the other trail mix I have 15 almonds for every 26 chocolate chips. Now to compare them, we can find either a common multiple or common factor of either 9 and 15, 9 and 26, 5 and 15, or 5 and 26. Let's choose 5 and 15. Now the easiest multiple to find is 15, so we multiply 5 by 3 to get 15, and then multiply 9 by 3 to equalize both sides. Now because 15 to 26 already has 15, we don't need to change anything. From this, we can now compare the cranberries and the chocolate chips in the trail mix.
Ratios are everywhere and can be used in fun ways, such as seeing what Mr. Potato Head's nose would look like in proportion with the humans, i.e. Jasper's body. Often things that are larger or smaller than life are out of proportion. Jasper's body length is 175 centimeters long, and his nose length is 6 centimeters. Mr. Potato Head's body length is 16 centimeters and his nose is 4 centimeters. So, as a ratio, Jasper's is 175 centimeters to 6 centimeters, and Mr. Potato Head's is 16 centimeters to 4 centimeters. To compare these two ratios, we multiply 16 and 4 for Mr. Potato Head's ratio by Jasper's height, 175 centimeters. Now, to keep the state of equality for both sides of the equation, we multiply Jasper's ratio 175 and 6 by 16. Now we have a ratio where Jasper and Mr. Potato Head have the same height. Jasper's ratio is 2,800 to 96, and Mr. Potato Head's is 2,800 to 700. Mr. Potato Head's nose is 700 centimeters, while Jasper's is 96. Now, so that we can put the size of Mr. Potato Head's nose on Jasper's body, we take Mr. Potato Head's nose, 700, and put it on Jasper's height, 2,800, to equal 2,800 to 700 centimeters. Now, to get the ratio back down to its proper proportions, we divide 2,800 and 700 by 16. This equals 175 centimeters, Jasper's proper height, and 43.75 centimeters, which would be the height of his nose if his body and nose were in proportion to that of Mr. Potato Head's.
Thanks for watching.
This was Unit 5.5 to 5.8.